How I maliciously complied with my boss by spamming him with texts. I am a seasonal wildland firefighter, and this story took place in the summer 2021. I was working at a very small federal district, and most of the time, I was given daily projects and assignments I could do by myself, or I would be assigned to a different crew for the day. Recreation, fire, range, etc. My bossman, and I had a very combative relationship. We butted heads a lot, both thinking we had the better plan or idea, and usually it would end up with me backing down. Bossman was former military, so he had specific ideas and ways of thinking, especially respecting the chain of command, which becomes important later on. He wasn't a bad guy since he helped me in his own way, and I was able to get more certifications and go to special fire classes because of him. I honestly think he did not play well with others, since I hardly saw him working within other crews and did not seem like a team player. Now, onto the story. I was ordered to go to a large fire nearly 400 miles away as camp security for the standard 2 weeks. Security was one of my certifications, and this was the first time I would go on a fire solo. So this was a big deal. At the same time, Bossman was ordered to another fire in a different state, so we both needed to prepare. Before I left, I asked Bossman about us keeping each other in the loop in case either one of us needed to leave early or needed to stay, or being extended. He basically told me not to worry about anything and to relay all my updates to him and then to his boss, our fire management officer, aka Big Boss Man. So, I went to the fire and had a blast. I met a lot of people, learned a lot, and was able to stay an extra 7 days past the 2-week mark. All approved by Bossman and Big Boss Man. Then, my 7 days were up and I had to get my travel plans in place. The drive to the fire took around 10 hours, and I was thinking about taking a different route home. I had to drive through some creepy towns and some long, desolate highways straight out of a horror movie, and I was not wanting to do that again. Did I mention that I was a single 25 female that could pass for 15 and had to drive a 20-year-old gas guzzler for a government rig? So I decided to go a second, longer route that would make my trip be about a day and a half, rather than take the shorter, yet riskier, route, since I believed Bossman was still on his fire and would not be reached. I called Big Boss Man and asked him about my plan about going the longer route, and he gave me the all clear, telling me to have a safe trip. I then sent a text to Bossman, keeping him in the loop about what I was going to do, and was prepared to spend the night at a nice hotel room and go to bed early, ready for the drive home. That is until I got a phone call from an irate Bossman, accusing me of going behind his back and disrespecting the chain of command, and demanding to know why I was going to take a longer route. I was completely taken aback, thinking this was completely out of the blue. Turns out Bossman had gotten back from his fire without letting me know, and assumed I would run my contingency plan by him and him only. He then accused me of trying to get an extra day off, since firefighters get a mandatory 2 days off after a fire roll, and maybe more if their travel time was longer than 10 hours. He also seemed to think I was dumb wanting to take the longer route instead of the shorter route, saying, "Why would you want to drive longer? You really think the longer route is better than the shorter route? The shorter route is shorter, so that's why you need to take it." Quote, I did my best to calm him down, letting him know I was not feeling safe driving that specific highway on the 10-hour route. But he stopped me saying, "Don't you dare use that buzzword unless you are actually in danger. I honestly thought you had a better work ethic than that." Quote, now, I can take a lot of insults. Insult my looks? Fine. I don't care. Laugh at me because I'm small and a female firefighter? I've heard it all before. But no one ever challenges my work ethic, or accuse me of being underhanded. That hit me harder than I was expecting, and I almost broke down crying while on the phone. I kept my composure and backed down from Bossman, telling him I would take the shorter route and would report to him once I got home. He then huffed at me and said, "I better hear from you during your drive as well." Before hanging up, I cried myself to sleep that night, so angry and upset and overall tired from over 27 days of being away from home. But then, I decided to do exactly what Bossman wanted me to do. I would let him know exactly what I was doing during that 10-hour drive. That next morning, I started my malicious compliance. Wake up, text Bossman. Leave hotel with receipt, text and picture of receipt. Start up car, text. Breakfast, text, etc. Every town I passed through, I texted him my exact location. If I needed a snack or a break, I texted him my break time and took pictures of my snack. The gas stations I stopped at, the price, everything. It was all worth it. Even driving through the methed out towns and the hypnotized states I had to snap myself out of. While driving through the desert, finally, I got home to my district and sent off the final photo to Bossman of our office and my truck in its usual parking spot. I then stopped my relentless texting and went on to enjoy my 2 blissful days off. When I came back to work, I greeted Bossman with my usual cherry attitude and a good morning. Quote. He grunted a "welcome back," then went on to telling me to check out a campground for any illegal campfires. It was a small victory, but still a win in my book. Sorry for this being so long, but I'm still satisfied with it. Any questions are welcome. Buzzword. Anytime someone uses buzzword to dismiss genuine concerns, that's the ultimate ironic buzzword. Have you told this story before? Because I swear I've seen this before. Possibly in this exact subreddit. How is this malicious compliance? You texted your power-hungry boss at every junction while you took an unsafe route? Sounds like he got everything he wanted while you hung out with creeps? Kudos on your small victory. I feel like you should report him for pushing you to take an unsafe route and for inappropriately dismissing your concerns under the guise of saying you have poor work ethic. It might seem like a trivial thing to report, but for every time it isn't. You're teaching them that it's acceptable behavior at the cost of your and others' safety, emotions, well-being, and stress. This is not okay behavior and merits an HR report. If you fear HR not taking you seriously, repeated concerns about someone that challenge safety and/or display discriminatory behavior opens the org, company, district up to lawsuits. They may ignore 1 or 2 incidents, but you gotta keep reporting every incident to establish a pattern. Follow each report up with an emailed summary and save a copy for your records. Even if you have no intention of ever suing, you have protection, ammo should things ever get really bad. That practice alone can serve as motivation for HR to take appropriate action on your behalf. This isn't malicious compliance or a victory. You put yourself in emotional distress and a potentially unsafe environment. You texted your boss who was on a power trip. He would have seen that as control. I thought you were going to text the big boss man at the same time, getting Bossman into trouble. Former military. Not a team player. I'm guessing you don't really understand how the military works. I'm curious where in the world this is that a 400-mile drive takes a day and a half on highways. I realize you said you took a longer route home. But wow. Are you fighting wildfires in the deep recesses of the Amazon rainforest or the Alaskan bush or something like that, where you have to travel 4 hours by elephant from the nearest road to get to The camp? Boss Mang.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.